How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I was eagerly waiting for our session.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me onto your channel. I really appreciate it. I
Thank you
really
so
enjoy talking to people. Yeah,
Okay, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and for joining me today.
of course.
So,
Yeah.
yes, okay. So I want you to introduce yourself so that we can know a little bit about each other.
Sure. So my name is Jack McBain, and I'm a podcaster and a YouTuber and a teacher. And I teach English at a university in South Korea. So I live and work in South Korea. I teach at a university, so I'm mainly teaching freshman students, first year
Hmm.
students who need help with communication. So we do a lot of speaking exercises and speaking activities. Um,
Okay.
my podcast is called the A to Z English Podcast, the A to Z English Podcast, and I've been doing that podcast for about 2 years. And it's an English language learning podcast. So when students are, or anyone that wants to learn English is, traveling by car or walking or taking the bus, you can put in your headphones and
Hmm.
just listen to some English lessons and conversations and work on your, listening comprehension. And I have another YouTube channel called English Word Master, and that one is we teach vocabulary to students.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got a lot of many different things going on at the same time. Yeah.
Wow.
How
Wonderful.
about you?
Oh, so I'm Neha Rana and I'm from India. Uh, if I talk about my native place, it's a beautiful hill station or hilly area, and it is known as Devbhumi because there are so many temples. So it's Himachal
Oh,
Pradesh. Have you heard
sounds
about?
beautiful.
Have you heard? Yes.
No,
Okay.
but it
Yes.
sounds amazing.
Yes, it is. I would say that it is in the lap of nature. And if you love hills, mountains, serenity, you should come once in your lifetime.
It's on my bucket
So,
list, definitely to go to India, but
okay.
I would love to see the beautiful hillsides and visit some
Hmm.
temples. That would be amazing. So cool.
Okay, and I'm a homemaker. Also, I run my YouTube channel where I upload videos regarding English language because I am an English enthusiast. I want to enhance my communication skills. But when it comes to specifically English speaking skills, being a homemaker, I sometimes I feel confined within walls of my home because I have limited access to people. So
Right.
that is the reason I always try to explore myself, and I am looking for these kind of platform where I can explore my communication skills, where I can have interaction with different people. So that is the reason I'm here. And if I talk about my hobbies, I'm a biggest fan of Hindi Bollywood music. So yes, I would say that music floats my boat. And
That's amazing.
yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm also a big enthusiast of music. I'm a guitar player, so
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm always practicing. I'm never as good as I want to be, I always have to keep practicing, and
Yes,
it's
yes,
a
yes.
never-ending journey, with
Right.
music.
Exactly,
Just like
exactly.
language learning, it's the same
Hmm.
thing.
Exactly.
You never reach your goal because there's always a higher
Hmm.
mountain to climb, there's always
Yes.
somewhere to go. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
How long have you been studying English, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, it's not, I can't say specific years, I can't mention years because I think as you just mentioned that learning a language I would say it's a lifelong learning process. So actually, I am a master's in English. I did my master's in 2005.
Makes sense.
But yes, but it's a, like here's a long gap between because I got married, become a mother, so I was completely busy bringing or raising up my child, and I was enjoying taking care of my family.
Sure.
So yes, but the thing is there within there was something that was always going on in my mind that I always wanted to do something with English language. But as I told you that I'm a homemaker, I'm restricted to my home only. And during lockdown, when this COVID Corona pandemic hit the world,
Yeah, I
so
remember. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
so I would say that was during lockdown. That was my eureka moment because it was a time that it came to my mind. Why am I sitting here? I was not doing anything that time. Even I think no one was doing anything because we were locked or restricted to our places only.
That's
So
right.
that time I started taking online tuition classes. And yes, along with that, I started uploading my videos on YouTube. So I would say that all these things like taking online sessions and recording myself and uploading videos on YouTube, it really helped me a lot to gain that confidence and to learn the technicalities of this language. But I have still I have a long way to go because it's a second language. It's not my first
Sure.
language. So I need to work more to polish my skills. So that is it.
That's an amazing story. I love that story because, when you when you studied your master's degree in 2005, the technology was good, but it wasn't what YouTube wasn't like what it is now.
No,
And
yes.
now there's so many opportunities
Hmm.
to do something online, and you don't need to go anywhere. You have access to all these people. And so for me, I've been making all these friends with Indian YouTubers because
Mhm.
every time I release a video or go on someone's channel, another
Mhm.
person will invite me on their channel, and another
Hmm.
person. And so it's just been fantastic for me because I just love to go out and talk
Hmm.
to new people. And it's nice for me to promote my,
Yes.
podcast because I want
Right.
more people to, listen to it. And so I appreciate your, letting me promote my stuff on your channel. But I really commend you for your efforts to, make use of that time during
Hmm.
COVID, because I also had the same situation.
Okay.
I started a podcast, a different podcast at that time, but I just I needed something to
Hmm.
do. I was so bored, and
Hmm.
I felt like I was wasting my life, I just wasn't doing anything. And creating content for the internet, for YouTube and for podcasting is so rewarding. I
Hmm.
bet you feel that too, that when you put out a
Yes.
video, you're helping people, and
Right.
you're helping them learn English, which is, I've realized, a huge passion for a lot of Indian people are really interested in
Yes.
learning English.
Exactly. True that. Because you know what? India is known for a country of villages. So I belong to a very small village in Himachal. So if I talk about 2005, there was nothing, no YouTube, no internet actually. We didn't have phones, mobile phones. We didn't have
Wow.
phone.
Right.
Yes,
I had a flip phone, I think, back
right.
then, maybe. Yeah.
Yes, we had only those landline, that was supposed to be at our places only.
Right.
So yes, there were no mobiles, so we were completely dependent on our teachers for any kind of knowledge or on our books. So it was a different scenario. But I always wanted to be comfortable with this language. I won't say fluent because fluency is something different. I want to be comfortable with this language. So that was my purpose, and I'm still working on it, though
Sure.
now I'm able to express myself in a better way. But still I want to be more comfortable, more I want to be flawless. I want to be flawless while speaking in English. So that is if I talk about today's time, also if I talk about villages, still there are villages, there are places you will be wondering to know there is no internet. People are not aware of all these kind of
Right.
technologies. They are just confined to their places and they have a different lifestyle. So I want to connect with all the people or the students from rural areas, so that
Yes.
I can share my knowledge with them and I can at least train them, so that whenever they step out from their villages in cities, they don't feel like that hesitation, or they don't feel demoralized. So I genuinely want to do something for the welfare of my society. So that's the reason I'm trying hard. Actually, I'm trying hard to, have this access.
Well, that's such a noble pursuit. I mean, I respect that so much. I mean, I like that you use the word comfortable instead of fluent. I think that's a really good um adjective to describe it um because I don't think fluency should be the
Hmm.
goal. I think,
Yes.
like you said, comfort or
Hmm.
confidence, also just comprehensibility, just the
Yes.
ability to express yourself and be
Right.
understood is is enough.
Hmm.
You don't need to have perfect pronunciation or perfect
Exactly.
grammar. The limitations of learning English by a book is
Hmm.
great. There are a lot of limitations. You can only go so far with a
Yes.
book,
Hmm.
and you need that interaction with another person, um, sharing, just bouncing ideas off of one
Hmm.
another, conversing back and forth, because language is social at
Yes.
its very root. And a lot of instructors or trainers, they they learn the grammar,
Hmm.
they know a lot of vocabulary words, but
Yes.
they don't have the confidence or the comfort. They're not comfortable.
Yes.
And so they just teach the students grammar, grammar, grammar,
Hmm.
grammar, take the test, take the spelling test. But
Right.
the students don't have the ability to have a conversation, and that's that's missing a huge part. Maybe the most important part of the
Hmm.
language is the
Yes.
communication. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes. So I want to ask you one question. You are a professional trainer. So you have trained so many students or people. So do you, during your journey of training people, have you ever find any common hurdle or common obstacle among all the learners? So if there is any common hurdle, I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think it's different in different situations. I have
Hmm.
different obstacles. So I teach, we have a WhatsApp group that
Oh.
and we teach Zoom lessons to
Mm-hmm.
international students from all over the world.
Oh.
And those students, like you, are really interested in the language. And
Hmm.
so every opportunity, they're just, I mean, the word I use is hungry. They're so hungry for
Hmm.
English.
Yes. Hmm.
And they're so happy and so grateful to have a native speaker, interact
Hmm.
with them. And my the problem where I don't know if problem is not the right word. Obstacle is better, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
When you're teaching freshman students in South Korea,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the students are not really interested in learning
Hmm.
English. It's not, they don't see how it benefits their lives that
Yes.
much. So it's more, I have to really work hard to keep them on
Hmm.
task and get them to participate and not, sleep in the classroom, and, come up with ideas that are fun and interesting. But I don't need to do that with my international students, because, and
Hmm.
my international students are older. They're in their 30s and 40s and 50s,
Mhm.
and they're very motivated, highly motivated. So I think the obstacle I face sometimes in my university class is motivation problems.
Yes.
Um, the obstacles that I have for teaching my international students is that, sorry, my camera's out of focus, but
Hmm.
the obstacles I face for my international students is that because we're spread out all over the world, we can only have classes online. There's no face-to-face
Hmm.
interaction. And
Okay.
although the technology is really good, we have Zoom and Google Meets and
Hmm.
Skype, those are really useful platforms. There are some limitations.
Hmm.
It's not the same as talking to someone face to face,
Yes.
which is the best. But when it's not possible because everybody is spread out all across the globe,
Hmm.
um, the Zoom or the Google Meets or the Skype is the next best option. And so, other than those kind of technical
Hmm.
um, issues, I don't. There aren't really too many obstacles. I find that the students are just really um, just so energetic and so
Hmm.
motivated. It's really inspirational, and
Hmm.
it makes me feel good. I think it's the same kind of feeling you get with the
Hmm.
rural villages when you are able to
Yes.
reach someone and they really want to learn English.
Yes.
They're so happy that you're there to
Exactly.
guide them and train them and talk to them. um, it's a great feeling. You feel like you're
Hmm.
actually,
Yes.
you're benefiting the world a little bit. You're doing
Right.
something good. Yeah.
True that. Okay. So one question which my learner asks me most of the time, ma'am, how to enhance our vocabulary. So mostly, what students or people do, they jot down so many words. They just like they are in habit of making notes and they actually don't use those words, or
Right.
they are not able to implement or utilize those words in daily conversations. So I want you to give some tips and tricks how to add new vocabulary words and how to use those words in day to day life.
That's a really good question, and I think I studied my master's degree in education in 2008. So
Mhm.
um, my emphasis is in TESOL, which is second language learning, second language
Yes.
acquisition, and one of the things that we studied in that class was that if you learning words in isolation is
Hmm.
not very useful. You can memorize a list of
Hmm.
words, but if
Yes.
there's no context
Hmm.
around those words,
Hmm.
there's it's kind of meaningless. It doesn't have any meaning alone.
Yes.
So I think the first thing that you need to do is understand the context of words. So when you read a paragraph, you don't have to understand every word.
Yes.
You can understand the paragraph
Hmm.
and still not understand quite a few words in that paragraph. Then in that situation, you can look them up, what the meaning is, but you're understanding it in the context of the
Hmm.
paragraph. And so context is really, really important. So I tell my students, if you want to build your vocabulary, don't
Hmm.
use a dictionary. That's the worst way you can do it. You can't just
Yes.
memorize
Hmm.
aardvark,
Yes.
alphabet, alligator. You can't do
Right.
it. It doesn't work. What you need to do is you need to read.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people don't like reading,
Hmm.
I mean, my students are very they
Okay.
they're not big fans of reading because there's a lot of distractions these
Yes.
days, music, podcasts, all the kind of things. But
Hmm.
I do think reading is very important for building vocabulary. And the second thing to do would be listening to like a podcast or watching a YouTube channel and hearing the vocabulary used in the context of sentences
Hmm.
is really important. So understanding the
Right.
context is really important. So that I'd say reading more.
Hmm.
And the thing that I tell my students is I
Hmm.
say don't read the newspaper.
Hmm.
I mean, unless if you love the news,
Hmm.
okay, that's fine. But most people find the news very boring. They don't care
Yes.
about politics. They don't care about stuff. But if someone is a huge fan of cricket,
Hmm.
then I would say, okay, instead of reading the cricket news or articles about cricket in your native language, why don't you find some news or some material online related to cricket that is
Cricket.
written in English? And so
Exactly.
you already enjoy cricket, so now
Hmm.
you're still studying something that you enjoy, but you're doing it in English. And that's, I think, one of the secrets to success is finding material that you think is interesting. If I tell my students, like, if you like comic books, read
Hmm.
comic books. Just read English
Exactly.
comic books, just read them in English.
Yes.
And some teachers say, "Oh, comic books are not real books." Oh,
No, no, no.
it's fine,
Yes.
like
Yes.
whatever you enjoy, whatever you like, as long
Yes.
as you enjoy it, you will continue to do it. If you hate
Hmm.
it and it's painful and it's just so boring, then
Yes.
everybody will quit. And so that's my advice for students.
Exactly. I see eye to eye.
Oh,
Completely
yes,
agree. Yes,
that's great.
completely agree. Because I am not an avid reader. I literally find reading quite monotonous because I easily get distracted,
Me too.
whatever
I
is
fall
going
asleep.
on. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I also want to build my vocabulary. So, what I do now, because we are blessed to have technology. So, I go to Google. I choose a small paragraph. It can be, and I always go for short stories actually.
That's great.
Interesting, they are interesting, and we don't feel boring or monotonous, and we get so many good vocabulary words there. So I think, yes, whenever, what happened, whenever I suggest that you should read something, so what they do, ma'am, from which book to read, they just ask me question, ma'am, suggest any book. So I just tell them, don't go for a book. If you find, because it's not easy to read a no a
300
book, or
pages. Yeah.
yes, definitely you will feel bored.
Right.
So I always suggest them, why to invest your money buying books? Go to Google, find any. There are so many sites, short stories where you can, So it is. I think we should always think out of box instead of following that conventional path. So we need to be creative and smart enough, I would say. So we have access to internet. So go to Google, find anything that you feel interesting. Go for short stories, anything. I personally go for stories, and I think this is the best way, and I am really I can tell you that there is a drastic change in my vocabulary now.
Yeah.
That is the good thing, and that is
Well, I
it.
could just notice your vocabulary is excellent. I mean,
Thank
yeah,
you so
it's,
much.
I can tell, that it's something that you work on, that you practice and, enhance. Um, as a matter of fact, on our, one of our YouTube channels called English Word Master,
Okay.
we have, story English. So we take the, Aesop's, do you know Aesop's fables, Aesop's stories? They
Uh,
might be familiar, like the turtle and the rabbit, tortoise and the hare,
yes,
and
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So I put
Hmm.
those stories up on slides, and we have someone read the story, and
Hmm.
so students can read along, and there's highlighted vocabulary and things like that.
Okay.
So when you contextualize it in a story form, it's
Yes.
so much more interesting
Hmm.
for learning. And like you said, even just a paragraph is,
Hmm.
break down a paragraph,
Yes.
understand it. There are so many free things
Hmm.
online.
Right.
There's no reason at all to go to the
Hmm.
store and to pay money
Yes.
for a book. I really, if you have a phone that has internet, you have everything at your fingertips.
Yes, exactly. Right. And I'll definitely, after this video, I am going to visit your YouTube channel, because I am right. It's like you. I am curious to see whatever you have uploaded there.
Well, thank
So
you.
yes,
Yeah, we
definitely.
do we do have some word lists and things like that on there,
Okay.
which is vocabulary, but we try to provide sentences and context, so that students can see the word written in a sentence, use it in a
Yes.
sentence. What is the meaning of the word? But
Hmm.
I really recommend students go to watch our stories videos, because
Yes.
those are exactly what you're talking about, like
Hmm.
reading a story that's
Yes.
not too. And also, I think students need to understand that you have to choose material that's a little bit more difficult than your level,
Difficult.
but you can't go
Exactly.
too high. If you go too
Hmm.
high, you're going to get bored.
Yes.
If you go too high,
Hmm.
it's going to get frustrating. If you go
Yes.
too low, it'll be
Hmm.
boring. So you have
Boring.
to find that right
Hmm.
material that's just challenging you a little bit, and
Yes.
you make that little progress every day, and pretty
Exactly.
soon you're communicating in English.
Definitely.
People to see this
Okay.
video and appreciate and enjoy your channel. I was looking at your channel, and you have a great channel,
Oh,
really nice
thank
videos
you
with
so
great
much.
interviews. Yeah, so
Okay.
um that's why I do these interviews, is because I want to you know promote English,
Hmm.
and in across the country, and
Yes.
for more people to get exposed to it. And I think it's nice for students to hear. I think students like to hear different pronunciations. So if you
Pronunciation.
interview
Right.
someone from Britain, someone from
Hmm.
America, someone from Canada, you get to
Yes.
listen to different accents, and it's very a nice thing.
Yes, actually, before this session, I had that jittery feeling. I was how the session would not go, but the thing is, you made me feel so comfortable, and I didn't feel like I'm speaking with some stranger. Or so I just want to thank you because you are so humble and so like soft spoken, and I learned so many new words. And the way, yes,
That's
I
great.
am going to again. I'm going to watch this recording again, and it's my habit. Whenever I find some video, any video useful, I always go through the recording, and I try to learn new vocabulary words, and I use in my next conversation.
Yes,
So
that's how it works. Yeah,
yes,
that's the secret.
actually,
That is the secret.
yes.
Well, I'm so
So
happy that you invited me on your channel.
thank you so
I'm humbled by your invitation, and really appreciate the time. So thank you so much.